I want to thank all of you for coming to help us share in the grief and celebrate the life well lived of Kay. There are so many here that are close friends, ones that she has worked with and shared with, and I sincerely thank you for being here. We're honored to have with us here our Governor, Roy Cooper, former Governor Jim Hunt, also Senator Richard Burr, with whom Kay served and who is the senior senator of North Carolina. We also have with us other friends of Kay's from the Senate, Amy Klobuchar, senator from from Minnesota, excuse me, and who is a presidential candidate, forgive me for that. Claire McCaskill, who is here from Missouri, Mary Landrieu from Louisiana, and Blanche Lincoln from Arkansas. All of those people served together with Kay in the United States Senate. I noticed Josh Stein was here as I came in, which means that there are probably a number of other elected officials and public servants that are here to honor Kay. And I want to thank you for your presence here today. I also want to thank the staff. Kay was fortunate to have wonderfully talented people in her North Carolina Senate office, in her U.S. Senate office, and in the campaigns where she spent considerable time trying to represent the people of North Carolina. She had once said that if you are going to do something, you need to have fun doing it. Well, those staff members were a part of making her life fun. They were a part of what kept Kay energized and really engaged in doing her work in the United States Senate. And there are a number of them here. If you are a person who was a member of her staff in the Senate or in her campaigns, I'd like for you to rise, please. Thank you. Kay brought life into the lives of many people, and we will all miss her. But I'm going to let our children explain some of their perspective of the light that she gave to us as a family.
I'm Jeanette Hagan, Kay's eldest daughter. Mom loved to travel. She always had a new place she wanted to go visit, sometimes nearby, sometimes far away. Trips were to see gorgeous mountains, to learn about different cultures, or simply to visit friends. Sometimes they were planned months in advance. Often they were spur of the moment, and they almost always included family. That excitement about a new trip was always there. One of the things about travel is that it's never predictable. While many trips go smoothly, a lot don't. Mom always had a great attitude no matter the circumstances. A rainstorm soaked everything on our first family backpacking trip. We still had many more. She encouraged the extended family to go hiking in the snow, then started a snowball fight. She knew she and my grandfather would want a lunch coma nap after a morning at the beach, so she planned kids' activities we could do to not bother the adults. When our passports were stolen at a market in Ecuador, she made an adventure out of getting new ones. That sense of adventure sometimes led us off the beaten path, much to the chagrin of the travel organizers. She didn't want to wait for the bus in Korea on a state Senate trip, so she said we'd walk and use the subway. Some people seemed surprised, others nervous. Mom just said, "Jeanette knows the way," and off we went. Of course, they were right to be worried. Mom's sense of direction was shockingly poor. Just ask any of her staff about her backseat driving. Her first few weeks in Washington, she would call me at 4 a.m. California time, completely lost in DC traffic and hoping for some guidance. I've been told one of my strengths is my ability to roll with the punches. I know I got that from my mom. I learned through many travel delays and fiascos that eventually we will get home. And while we're at it, we may as well swing by Waffle House since it's 2 in the morning and we have a 2-hour drive. This idea of we'll get there eventually carried me through undergrad and my PhD. I still tell people who are nervous about traveling with kids that at some point, no matter how miserable the flight seems, you'll land and get off the plane. Mom never knew what life would throw at her, and that was okay. Just like in travel, she'd handle it when the time came. And she had family and her husband to help. This was exemplified these last 3 years. So while she wanted to travel to see the world and help us become more aware of other cultures and landscapes, the things that she taught me while traveling went well beyond that. I am passing on my mom's love of adventure to my children, and I hope they too learn something unexpected.
From the day I was born, I was a handful for Mom, always giving her something to worry about. While she never liked it when I'd go skydiving or ride my motorcycle, she wouldn't get mad because she'd done it all before too. I also always wanted to do things a little differently, so she'd figure out a way to get on board and help out, even if my sisters did roll their eyes at me. Whether it was my resistance to dressing up and Mom buying me a rubber alien tie, or me making a bike sprocket necklace I'd never take off that no one else liked, but my mom always told me she loved. One morning, on my way home for Christmas, Mom called and we wanted to think of a fun idea for our New Year's card. We were way too late for Christmas card. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, had just been released, and we were all Star Wars fans, so we decided that would be a great theme. I was a bit concerned my sisters might think it was a bit over the top, to which she replied, well, they can do whatever they want for their family's cards. When I got mine in the mail from Mom and Dad that year, she had written, my favorite card ever. It's still in my fridge 4 years later. Mom either knew or made it a point to meet everyone, everywhere she went. I always felt bad for whoever on Mom's staff was in charge of getting her to leave an event, because she couldn't leave without saying bye to every person there. She wanted everyone to know they were special to her, and she had to say a personal goodbye. They referred to it as her CLD, chronic leaving disorder. Mom valued the importance of service to others and made sure we did too. On Christmas mornings, she'd have our family wake up early and go to the Bell House, a home for people with cerebral palsy, so we could cook them breakfast and allow the staff to take the morning off. She would sit and speak with every resident, help feed those that couldn't feed themselves, and share smiles and laughs with all of them. Mom has touched more lives than we could possibly know, but we always hear of more every day. When Mom first got sick and had been transported to UNC, Jeanette, Carey, and I knew we were home when the first nurse we had in the ICU told us she was going to do everything she could to help Mom because she had a favor to repay. As it turns out, a number of years before that, Mom and her Senate staff helped that nurse cut through the bureaucracy to bring her own mother to the U.S. to live with her. Mom hadn't helped that nurse all those years ago because she ever expected anything in return. She did it because it was both her job and her passion to help serve others. We all knew Mom in different ways. Some of you as a Girl Scout leader, some as a banker, some as a carpool driver, and some as a senator. And while she was all of these things, to us, she was just Mom. She was the mom who would say avocado instead of avocado. The mom that sang off key but didn't care and sang anyway. The mom who called every dog we ever had him, even though we've only had female dogs. The mom who grounded me the one and only time I didn't hold the door for my grandmother. The mom who would do an arabesque on a slalom ski. The mom who'd knock on your college dorm room door just to say hi and ask if she could do laundry. The mom you'd see on vacation dancing with Dad on the tabletop at an otherwise empty bar. The mom who sang to you in a rocking chair if you had a nightmare. And the mom who loved us fiercely. So Mom, thank you for being Mama Kay. Thank you for making our rock of a father laugh and smile and dance with you, even when you couldn't stand on your own. Thank you for making me the person I am, and thank you for making Jeanette and Carey into the amazing, strong women and mothers they are. And as my mom ended that Star Wars holiday card, may the force and peace be with you.
In 2012, Mom came home from South Africa on a congressional trip and reported that she had a new best friend, Bono. It was a story we heard a lot. The characters changed: Sean Penn, Dolly Parton, Tim Gunn, Michelle Obama, to name a few. But the story was the same. Mom was my best friend. She was my hero and my inspiration. But she was everyone's best friend after a quick conversation, everyone's hero after learning of her service to our state and our nation, and of course, everyone's inspiration after seeing her still fully energized after a long day on the campaign trail, or watching her push herself during a rehab session. She had so many best friends for a simple reason. She genuinely cared about all of us, all of you. She magnified our every triumph and consoled our every defeat. Senator Schumer described her so well in his floor speech on Monday. She was an amazing force, never loud, but always strong, effective, hardworking, dedicated, principled, and just a kind-hearted person. She was KK to my 3 children. She was the best grandmother. She loved nothing more than to pick Harrison and Blair up early from daycare to take them to the park or the library, or ask me to delay a bottle feeding so she could bring me a latte and feed Blair his bottle herself. In the last 3 years, her role changed. What didn't change is the way she lit up when we entered the room. Her determination, perseverance, and strong opinions. Her love for me, for my brother and sister, for our kids, for my dad, and for all of you. When I remember my mom, I'll remember exactly how she was. At the kitchen counter in a yoga pose, reading the New York Times, sneaking another sliver of chocolate cake before she went to bed, worrying, loving, her laugh, and her smile. I'll remember the close friends and family who have embraced us over these last few years, and I'll do my best to model her resiliency and compassion for our children.